Hey, everybody, it's Doug Shoemaker, your local mortgage loan officer licensed in Illinois, Missouri, and Florida. And if you're thinking about buying a home or refinancing, you've probably noticed there is a ton of information out there about the mortgage loan process. Now, this can seem really overwhelming, but don't worry, I'm here. I'm going to break it down for you in a way that it's really easy to understand. So, in this video, we're going to actually walk through the steps of the loan process from pre qualification to pre approval all the way through closing so that you know exactly what you can expect. Now, the first part of the process that we're going to talk about is your pre qualification. And this is the first step in the mortgage process. And it's where we're going to basically get an understanding of your financial situation. We're going to have a conversation about your income, your credit, your existing debts, as well as any money that you might have available for a down payment or closing costs and reserves. So you don't need to gather a lot of documentation at this point. We're just looking to get a basic idea of what you might qualify for. Now, pre-qualification can help you figure out how much home you can afford so you can actually start the house hunting process with a realistic budget in mind. Now, do keep in mind that since income and assets aren't being verified, the sellers are probably going to frown on or not really even take a pre qualification very seriously when it comes to making an offer on their home because the market's really, really hot right now. And they just don't want to risk taking their home off the market unless they have a pretty high level of certainty that that deal's not going to fall through. Now, next, along the lines of the pre qualification, that next step is going to be the full pre approval. And the main difference between the pre qualification and the pre approval is that on the pre approval, we actually go ahead and ask a lot more questions up front. Now, don't expect all lenders to do this, but we do it for a couple reasons. Number one, we're going to have to ask these questions at some point anyway, so we might as well ask them up front so we don't have to bother you with a bunch of questions throughout the process, especially questions that we should have known up front anyway. Now, there's no way for us to know everything that we may need up front. So, we're going to do our best to keep you from having last minute nightmares, but do keep in mind sometimes when you send us a bank statement or other documents like that, it could open up other questions and cause us to need more information that if we didn't have that up front, we wouldn't even know to ask that question. So we will ask everything we can from our 20 years worth of experience up front to try to save you problems later. So again, the main goal here is to try to solve those problems up front rather than them happening the week of closing and setting your hair on fire. Now, once we have all of your income and asset documentation, we're going to review this information to make sure that the documentation is correct. Now, in many cases, this is done by an underwriter, which is the person with the credentials to make the actual loan decision. Now, from there, we issue a pre approval letter and provide a personal video to help get that offer accepted. Now, at this time, we're also going to put together another personal video that explains all the numbers that are unique to you. And we're going to compare some different loan types so we can make sure that we have the right strategy, not just for now, but for many years down the road. Now, our customers really like these videos because there is a ton of information we go over in the process, and it can really make your head hurt. Now, for most, it's way too much information to comprehend, which can actually cause problems throughout the process if you don't clearly understand everything. Now, with the video, you can actually start it, stop it, rewind it. You can forward it to a friend or family member who might be helping you. Simply, it just lets you digest the information at your own pace without having to make your head explode. So once we've actually issued your pre-approval, if you have a real estate agent, this is going to be the time to start shopping. If you do not have a real estate agent yet, by all means, let us know because we work with some of the best real estate agents in the area, and we'd be glad to make a recommendation for you. Now, I do not advise shopping much before you have that full pre-approval because Murphy's Law was born in the mortgage industry, and if you fall in love with something before your approval's done, Murphy's Law says that it's just going to be a tad bit more than you can afford, and nothing else is going to be good enough. So it's always best to get pre approved by a hyper local or highly recommended certified mortgage advisor well before starting your search. Now, the next step that I want to go through is the loan application. Now, once you've found a home, it's time for the actual loan application. Now, you already did what probably felt like an application, but the government doesn't actually consider it a full legal loan application until you've made an offer on a home and that offer has been accepted. Now, this is the point where most lenders actually start asking you all the questions that we ask in the beginning. And this is where usually you'll ever uncover some curveballs in the process. Now, with the Shoemaker Loan Team, we will have already had all the questions asked that can and will have your file mostly ready to go to processing so that we can order your appraisal and your title work. Now, the next step of the process is processing and underwriting. And once your application is submitted to our processor, our team's going to actually review all of your documents and we're going to verify all that information. We're going to order the appraisal to determine the value of the home and make sure there aren't any dangerous safety or livability conditions. And we're going to do a title search to make sure that there's no legal issues with the property. Now, the underwriter is then going to take a really close look at all your financials to determine that you meet the lender's guidelines. Now, this is often the most detailed part of the process, but it's also where we get one step closer to your final approval. Now, the next step is your conditional approval. So, once the underwriting is complete, you're going to get something called a conditional approval. Now, this means that the lender is mostly ready to approve your loan, but that they might need a few more little pieces of information, like maybe additional documentation or clarification of something in your file. Maybe they just need an additional letter of explanation or a bank statement or something like that. So, my team and I are going to help you gather that information, whatever is needed to check all those boxes. Now, once we satisfy those conditions from the conditional approval, we're issued something called a final approval or clear to close. Now, once the loan is clear to close, the mortgage company's closing department is going to start working with the title company or settlement agent to balance all the final figures for your closing. So finally, we get to reach the best part, and it is the closing. This is actually when all the hard work pays off and you officially become a homeowner or lock in your new mortgage terms if you're doing a refinance. Now, about 8 or 10 days prior to closing, I'll usually set up a meeting or record a video that goes over all the numbers for closing. So, this is going to be things for you to be cautious about leading up to closing. It's going to be some scams to watch out for either before or after closing. And a day or so prior to close, then the final numbers will actually come out. Now, normally your cash to close needs to be in the form of a cashier's check made out to the title company from an account where we've actually verified your funds, or you can do a wire transfer from that account. Now, wire fraud is actually on the rise, so we're going to cover some specific instructions for you that are going to allow you to request those wiring instructions directly from the title company. Now, on closing day, you're going to sign all your paperwork, and then the funds are going to be dispersed to complete the transaction. The title company is going to actually take care of paying any taxes or insurance that are due, and in some cases, you'll actually have a chance to talk to the seller with any final questions that you might have about the home. Congratulations, you've actually made it. Now, keep in mind, about 30 days after your closing, we're going to send you a notice of your servicing transfer. We're also going to send you a reminder of that first payment. Now, the servicer is the company that you will make your payments to each month. Now, they're going to then take that payment and they're going to put the appropriate amount of money in your escrow account for the taxes and the insurance so that that can be paid on your behalf and apply the rest to your principal amount of your loan, assuming you have chosen to escrow on your loan, which most people do. Now, with many lenders, you lose your original loan team whenever they transfer servicing. And with the Shoemaker Loan Team, though, we always highly encourage our clients to call us first down the road for any questions that you might have. We've been in the local area for over 20 years lending, and we've got a lot of resources that can help you with loan questions, as well as referrals to local professionals if that's something that you need. Now, some of the additional services that we offer for our customers are like weekly process updates while you're in your loan process. And believe it or not, that is not very common. Most lenders report, or most clients report, that they have to reach out to their lenders to get updates, where at a very minimum, we'll be reaching out to you every single Friday. And then as things change on your loan, we will reach out as well. We're going to send a market update each week that's going to keep your finger on the pulse of what the national average of mortgage rates is doing and what the most recent mortgage news is. Now, we're also going to have you in a system that's going to track your loan and it tracks the market. And at the moment, there is a true financial opportunity for you to refinance. it's going to send me a notification. So I watch the market every single day. That's part of being a certified mortgage advisor. And when those financial opportunities come up, I will always reach out. Now, no, I will never twist your arm to do a refinance if there's not a real financial opportunity, or if we think a better opportunity is coming down the road. But we want to make sure that we're there for you whenever you are ready. Now, the other thing is, I'm going to send you a home report every single month that's going to keep you up to date with your home value estimates, as well as different things that are going on with the values in your community. It's a really, really good source of information, and I cover all the cost for you. Now, finally, we offer an annual review where we're going to actually discuss your goals as it pertains to real estate and finance. And we've got, as I said earlier, a really huge network of local service providers. And we're always glad to make recommendations for anything that we're not equipped to help you with from a financial standpoint. So that is pretty much it. That's the full loan process from start to finish. Now, I know it sounds like a lot, but I'm here to guide you through it every step of the way. If you have any other questions or you're ready to start your loan process, feel free to reach out to me today. Or if you've already started the process elsewhere and you'd like a second opinion, my contact information is listed right below. I'd love to help you achieve your homeownership goals or your refinancing goals. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more tips on navigating the mortgage process.